Let's take a look at Stephanie White. Oh, shit. Locker room cam after our big-time dub against the Mercury. Kelsey Mitchell with the go-ahead basket. Stephanie White, as soon as Kelsey Mitchell hit that go-ahead basket, Stephanie White became erect. I shit you not. I shit you not. Kelsey Mitchell makes that go-ahead basket. Stephanie White becomes erect.
Look at her face right there. That is not ordinary excitement. That's raw, all-out joy breaking loose. Stephanie White is nearly jumping off the bench after Kelsey Mitchell drills the go-ahead shot against Phoenix. The smile, the fist pumps, the celebration that carries all the way into the locker room. Hold that picture in your head, because in just a few minutes, we'll show you how the same coach reacted to Caitlin Clark's game winner. And trust me, that difference is going to make you rethink everything about this coaching staff.
Sophie Cunningham trolling Alyssa Thomas, trolling the Phoenix Mercury crowd. We have Aaliyah Boston getting in on the troll. We have Stephanie White. This is the real one right here. We have two separate videos. We have the video of Stephanie White speaking about...
Here's the situation. September 2024, Fever taking on the Mercury, and this game carries real playoff weight. But something happened that nobody's really talking about yet. For weeks, Stephanie White had been sticking to this deep 11-player rotation. Minute limits, fresh legs, building depth, the whole plan. Then Aaliyah Boston returns from injury, and out of nowhere she logs 38 minutes. 38. Clark hasn't hit that number all season. Just like that, the set-in-stone rotation is gone. The strict minute caps? Gone too. The 11-man experiment? Abandoned overnight. So here's the real question. Why did a philosophy White defended for months disappear the second Clark stopped being the offense's main focus?
Had a message for the Mercury fans after the game. Caitlin Clark can't help but smile. Sophie Cunningham pointing at the crowd. Now, during the game, Sophie Cunningham taking free throws, I believe. She was getting booed. They were pointing at her throughout the game. So Sophie Cunningham, after coming up clutch late in the game, she decided to do some pointing of her own. She decided to do some troll.
Then comes one of the biggest moments of the night. Sophie Cunningham is knocking down big shots, playing tough defense, and when Phoenix fans start booing her at the line, she just points right back at the crowd after the Fever take the lead. That's pure competitive fire, the kind of raw emotion that makes sports fun to watch. Clark's standing there grinning ear to ear, clearly enjoying it. But watch what happens next. An assistant coach rushes in and pushes Sophie's hand back down. Get it down. Stop celebrating. This is the same staff that's always touching players, steering them, controlling every reaction, good or bad. It feels stifling. Fans in the chat were saying the same thing. How draining it must be to play under that kind of constant micromanagement. Every celebration gets shut down. Every bit of emotion gets corrected. These players can't even enjoy a big moment without someone stepping in.
The greatest defensive play in WNBA history. Seriously. This might be the greatest play in defense and the defensive play in WNBA history. Kyle Copper goes up for a shot, and Michaela Timpson pins this ball to the backboard. Kyle Copper goes up for a shot, and Michaela Timpson...
Here's the play that's blowing up online, and it's easy to see why. Kalia Copper drives for a layup, and Michaela Tims just slams the ball flat against the backboard. That's not your average block. She actually pins it there and holds it. Plays like this come around maybe once in a blue moon. Chase down blocks are common. You'll see those in any high school game. But pinning the ball to the glass takes rare timing, hops, and pure athleticism. Remember, Tims is only in year 2, and she's already making plays veterans dream about. This might be one of the greatest defensive plays in league history, and that tells you two things. First, Tims is a special athlete. Second, it shows how underrated the league's athleticism has been if a second-year player can set the bar this high, this fast. Of course, some old-school fans tried comparing it to a routine Gabby Williams chase-down block. Nothing special, seen it 100 times. But confusing a normal block with pinning the ball to the backboard just shows how badly some people want to downplay anything the Fever do.
You... Now let's take that and compare it to Caitlin Clark's game-winning shot against the Mystics.
Really good job of finding a way. Okay, really good job of finding a way. We started to expand that fist, and then we came back together. All right, that was really good stuff. Now, we know we got a lot of stuff we got to work on, right? We know that. But being able to come away and withstand what we withstood in that run, and to be able to pull together, get some key stops, shot C.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Shot, great pass. So,
Watch closely, because what you're about to see doesn't add up. This is Stephanie White reacting right after Caitlin Clark buried a game-winning shot against Washington, a rookie point guard delivering in the biggest moment of the game. And her response? Flat. Almost robotic. She talks about spacing, about the defense closing in and the team regrouping, like she's breaking down a practice rep, not a walk-off winner in a playoff race. Nice shot, CC, good pass. The words are fine. The energy is nowhere to be found. She sounds like someone handing out polite feedback for meeting expectations, nothing more. Now rewind that same coach's reaction just weeks earlier, right after Kelsey Mitchell hit a go-ahead bucket against Phoenix. Screaming, jumping, pure, uncontained joy spreading through the entire locker room. Two clutch, game-deciding shots, separated by only a few weeks, and the coach's emotional response couldn't be more different. It's not subtle. It's night and day. And it's not just about celebrations after the fact. It's happening live, on the court, in real time. Sophie Cunningham hits a big shot, points right back at the fans who were booing her, fully feeding off the moment. And immediately, a coach rushes over to grab her arm. Get your hand down. Get it down. That's the pattern with this staff. Constantly touching players, correcting them, managing every ounce of emotion out of the game. Fans watching live were saying it looks exhausting to play under that kind of control, like joy itself needs permission first. Then there's Aaliyah Boston, drilling a three right in Alyssa Thomas's face and letting her know about it. Thomas, one of the most physical, most confrontational defenders in the league, someone who does not usually let disrespect slide, just walks away. No response, because she knows exactly who she's dealing with, and she knows this Fever team isn't backing down anymore. For most of the season, this roster looked like it could be pushed around. They'd absorb contact and offer nothing back. That night was different. The physicality was different. The confidence was different. And notice the timing. It happened in a game where Clark wasn't the one dominating the ball, and Mitchell got to run the show instead. Compare the reactions again after Mitchell's shot. Big shot. Yeah, good shot. Good pass. Good pass. Over and over, practically bouncing off the walls, doing what looked like an actual celebration dance on the sideline. Now flip it back to Clark's game winner, a performance that also came with a franchise record attached. Nothing. No mention of it. No real excitement. Just silence where enthusiasm should have been. It's strange how the celebrations seem to scale up exactly when Clark isn't the headline. So let's actually dig into why this might be happening. Because this isn't just about one coach's mood swings. It points to something bigger going on inside the organization since White took the head job back in October 2024. She'd coached this same franchise once before, years back, with a solid but unremarkable stretch. After that, she went on to build a defense-first identity with a different team, developing a very specific system along the way. When she returned to Indiana, everyone assumed she'd be the ideal fit. Someone who could unlock Clark's talent while building something sustainable. Instead, what we've gotten looks like a coach who seems genuinely uneasy with the level of attention and success Clark brings to this team. The rotation confusion isn't new either. White has leaned on an 11 or 12 player rotation for most of this year, insisting it's about developing depth and keeping the whole roster engaged. That approach makes sense for a rebuilding team full of unproven young players. But this isn't a rebuilding roster. This team has the Rookie of the Year, an all-star scorer, and a former first overall pick. This is a team that should be tightening its rotation down to its best 8 or 9 guys heading into playoff basketball. Instead, the bench keeps rotating in waves, killing any rhythm, leaving players unsure when they're even getting on the floor. And then, almost like clockwork, in the games where Mitchell becomes the focal point instead of Clark, everything tightens up. Minutes stabilize. Screens get set with more force. Effort on defense visibly picks up. Players notice patterns like that. And when a coach's entire approach seems to shift depending on who's having the big night, it breeds resentment fast. It raises real questions about favoritism, and it makes players start wondering if everyone's actually being treated like part of the same team. One comment that's been circulating sums up a feeling shared by a lot of fans. Years spent following Clark's rise, from college through her rookie pro season, watching her pull in millions of new eyes to women's basketball, driving ratings and revenue the league desperately needed. And in return, constant undercutting, quiet resentment, and resistance from inside the very organization that should be celebrating her the most. There's even been talk of lawmakers looking into how the league has handled situations surrounding its biggest star. When politicians start questioning whether a pro sports league is mishandling its own success story, that tells you the problem runs deep. Here's what makes it even harder to watch. Clark hasn't said a word publicly about any of it. No shots at coaches. No throwing teammates under the bus. No complaints about the physical treatment she deals with on the floor almost nightly. She stays composed, gives measured answers to reporters, and keeps trying to be the best teammate she can be, even in a clearly uncomfortable situation. That restraint says a lot about her character, but it also means nobody's forced to fix the problem, because she refuses to make it a public fight. So let's really break down what these two very different reactions reveal. After Mitchell's shot, White is fully lit up, cheering, hyping the whole team, grinning from ear to ear, calling it a gut-check win where everyone found a way. The energy is real, and it's contagious. After Clark's game winner, she shifts into analyst mode, talking through execution, spacing, and late-game stops, using positive words wrapped in a completely flat delivery. No spark, no sense that anything special just happened. It sounds more like film review from an ordinary January game than a reaction to a rookie closing out a crucial win. That gap in energy isn't small, it's glaring, and it fits a pattern that's shown up all season. When Mitchell has a big night, the praise is loud and effusive. When Boston has a strong game, White gushes about her growth. When Clark puts up historic numbers, the conversation quietly shifts to team basketball and spreading credit around. The praise for Clark always comes with an asterisk attached. So why is this happening? Some think it's simple jealousy. White had a respectable playing career of her own, but never came close to the spotlight Clark commands now. Others think it's more philosophical, an old-school mentality where individual stardom gets discouraged in favor of a team-first identity, clashing directly with the new era Clark represents, one built around star power driving the league forward. And maybe it's even simpler than both of those things. Maybe it's personal. Maybe White just doesn't connect with what Clark represents. The deep threes, the highlight reel passes, the media attention, fans who show up specifically for one player. Whatever the actual reason, the effect on this team is undeniable. The energy shifts depending on who's in the spotlight. The rotation shifts. The coaching staff's visible investment shifts. And that's not something a team can build real chemistry on. You can't create a championship culture when your head coach's enthusiasm depends on which player is having the moment. You can't build unity when players can visibly see some teammates get pure joy while another gets clinical detachment. Look at how other successful coaches around this league operate with their franchise stars, building systems entirely around maximizing what their best player does well, celebrating that success loudly and without hesitation, making it crystal clear that when the star wins, everybody wins. No mixed signals. No second-guessing whether the coach secretly wants someone else in the spotlight. That's what a healthy coach-star relationship looks like. That's exactly what this situation is missing. Meanwhile, this should be one of the most exciting seasons in franchise history. A generational rookie, a team fighting for playoff position, sold-out arenas, national media coverage every single night. Instead, every big win gets complicated by the same question. Why does the coach's excitement seem to depend on who scored the winning bucket? Every press conference turns into a search for hidden meaning. Every rotation decision gets picked apart for signs of bias. And the players feel it too. You can see it in their body language, in the frustration on Cunningham's face after her celebration got shut down, in Clark's polite nod toward the bench instead of real enthusiasm after a big shot. These moments pile up, and slowly they create a locker room where nobody's quite sure which version of the coaching staff is going to show up on a given night. The season still has time left to fix this. But the longer this pattern continues, the harder it becomes to undo. Players remember who gets celebrated and who gets managed. They hear the difference in tone. They feel when the energy shifts depending on who had the big night. And eventually, that kind of gap creates cracks that no amount of talent can paper over. So here's what I want to know from you. If you were running this front office, would you bring this coaching staff back next season? Is this something that can actually be repaired, or is the disconnect too deep to fix at this point? And how much longer should a player carrying this much weight for the entire league have to deal with a staff that can't fully celebrate her success? Drop your take in the comments. Tell me if you think this is overblown, or if you've noticed the exact same thing all year. And if you want more honest breakdowns of what's really happening behind the scenes in women's basketball, make sure you're subscribed, because this story is far from over.